Okay, welcome, and this is the second video for me in this channel. The first one I was just saying some concepts. This is gonna be more like what I'm experiencing and how I'm experiencing it. I'm in Thessaloniki. If you follow the channel, you might have heard it from Kuzi. Love it. And I've been here since end of November actually. I came back from Crete, where I was when I filmed the first video, and in Crete, I went. I was super depressed. I couldn't like fucking get up in the morning. I really struggled, and I couldn't find a way out, or I couldn't even understand exactly why I was struggling. And now looking back on it, I was fucking struggling because I felt so weak. Like I felt like, I could sense my power and myself actually, like who I am in my core and what I want to do and how I want life to look like. And I felt like in the world like we're living, I felt like that was impossible, and I felt like it was so far off that I was like, Apelpisia, how do we, I was in a state of desperation because I felt like whatever I do, like there's no place for me, and I didn't understand it back then. I just felt very like depressed, and then I met this girl who was like the most different person from me I ever met. In like she was the person that I would normally, if I became a dictator and like I banned some people, she would be like the first person to ban. But somehow she made me feel this space. When I was talking to her, she made me feel seen for like the first time in a long time, and that space kind of made me feel justified to start regaining my power. And she gave me a more grounded approach to life. She gave me the approach that, okay, you don't need to go at it all at once, you can go step by step. But that's what I felt. She didn't tell me, but it was like, don't stay here. Like here you're just fucking destroying your life. Just get up and start going. And even if you never reach, it's better to start going than stay here and like cry. That was very true. And the whole thing gave me so much power, so much power. And I left Crete on my feet after a long time where I was just so bad, and I felt Crete like with a fucking smile on my face and listening to a song and feeling like it's all worth it, all the fucking darkness and the depression and the everything, like for what happened here, it's worth it. And I felt like a fucking rich, so rich, and I felt like a winner. So I left and came back to Thessaloniki and tried to make a more take a more grounded approach in life, like find a job and be in life, participate and do what I can also to make this city feel more like my home. So in the beginning I made those stickers and I was sticking them everywhere, and I was feeling like it was such a small thing, it was just stickers, but it was offering me so much. Like those stickers for me were fucking everything. They were like my fucking gun. Because they were saying, there were some like poems, and they were what I needed to hear. And I feel like many more people as well. And there was these safe spaces in the city, these points where like in all the bullshit and like in the darkness and the disconnection, that's the thing, the disconnection that exists. There was these points that were like, hey, it can be better than this, and it is better than this, and it's very easy. So I was feeling this was feeding me. This was what I was really doing. I was just making these stickers, and I was also healing because I have very much stuff to heal, and it annoys the fuck out of me because it's taking such a long time to heal. I've been I always think it's gonna be less time, so I start doing it. In the beginning, I'm patient, and then at some point, something happens, and I'm like, I think I got over this. Why am I still here? And it's very very annoying. It's a bit soul crushing sometimes. But that's the important thing, is to not let that happen, because that's the worst enemy. Desperation is the worst enemy. So if you can get past that and see the progress, because progress is happening all the time. So if you can see the progress, it's really good. But anyways, where was I at? That I was in Thessaloniki, and yeah, I was staying by myself and kind of healing, and being more conscious of myself, trying to be more real with myself and with what I want and who I am, and why I do the things I do. I found out some stuff that are very very interesting. Not very much how to fight them though. So I had this many insecurities that were really holding me back. Like I went through phases through my whole life where I was like super comfortable and confident, and I was feeling like a fucking force of nature. I could just give everything of myself out. I could be myself. Actually, I don't know if everyone feels like that when they're good, but when I'm good, I feel like this, like I'm a force of nature. Actually, it's really beautiful. And then I had these periods of insecurity and like just pain. Like the first time it happened, I was full of acne, like terrible acne, and I was feeling like shit. I'm not enough. I don't deserve stuff. So I stopped dressing the way I wanted to dress, and I stopped speaking the way I wanted to speak. It was like so much self sabotage. It was like a fucking soul suicide. And this lasted for around like 2.5 years, and then I went to Bali, and just my outlook on life fully changed. And I came back and I was like, no, no more. This is bullshit. I can't throw my life in the trash for like some pimples. Fuck this. Fuck you. And I started actually again, like, going back to my roots. And it was amazing. I was feeling like a force of nature. I think there's nothing more from that to say. Like I was doing everything like the normal stuff a human does, and being creative really, and like really getting into relationships, really able to love, to see the other person for who they are, and like open a space for them and have fun and everything really. And then I all of a sudden, like almost 2 years after, like there is this period of 2 years where I'm like that, and then I started having insecurities with my fucking height, and I'm like, shit, what? Because when I got the fucking pimple insecurity, I was like, I love my height, like I loved it. I was like, because I do have like a very very beautiful body. So I was like, I love this height, because the people I loved as well were like near my height, and I was like, yeah, boy, this is amazing. I never want to get taller. Like this is it, or shorter. They're like, this is my height. This is who I am. And then like this fucking wave started coming at me, like, you are not good enough because you're short. Mwah! And I was like, this is not true. Like this is obviously not true. At that point, I was. I had some girlfriends. I was doing good with girls. I didn't have any problems. So I was like, but it came at me and I couldn't stop it. I couldn't tell it fuck you. It was like it had its roots in society, I guess, and my mind was weak, I guess, and I couldn't control it. So it like fucked me. It fucked me. I felt like a fuck. I felt like I was a refuge out of my body, as if I got thrown in my body, out of my body, and that's like the most horrible feeling. I couldn't. I didn't feel my body. I just felt pain in my body every time I spoke to someone. So I couldn't connect to anyone. I couldn't stand up for myself, for what I believe, or what I want to do. It was like my body out of like this temple of ecstasy became this fucking trap, this prison, and it was horrible. It was really, really horrible. Like it's like it stole everything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't, like, when you can't stand for yourself for anything, you're like handicapped. Like I was like spiritually handicapped for a long time. This was like, again, 2.5, 3 years almost. I'm still struggling with it, but I understood that this whole thing comes from this belief saying you are not enough, that is very deep rooted in me, and I don't know why. Because it's not like all the time. I guess from what I hear, because I only can know from my experience, but from what I hear, most people who have it like most of the time. For me, it's like I have it, and then I fully throw it away, and I'm just like flying, and then it comes back again. It's like it's on the poles. So yeah, I've been struggling with healing and with regaining my body, actually, like regaining my animalistic self, my fucking personality. Say it, however, like healthy anger, regaining my truth, being able to stand here like a fucking wild tiger and be like, "Arrgh," or like this dude here. We don't have curtains, and I'm walking around naked, and there's like tons of houses there with old people, and they're all seeing my dick. And I'm like, anyway, yeah, I was trying to regain my body. I'm still trying. Like I used to wake up every day super like having this stress all over me, this tension, and it's sad because I have all those things to do, and that's really holding me back. But I'm fighting it. I'm gonna keep fighting like forever. And there is this moment, I wrote this poem. There's this moments where me and myself meet, and they're pure bliss. And it's like I feel those are the promises, and I can't live without it. So I'm gonna keep going forever. And I guess it's not gonna be forever. I guess I'll get it. But if I don't, I'm gonna keep going forever. And back to it, the healing process is still happening. It's always happening. But a very important part is I went to Norway. I went to see Orpheus in January. I was feeling like the city was getting a bit the best of me, so I wanted a breath. I was overwhelmed by the city. I wanted the breath. I wanted to regain some power. So I went to Norway, and it was so nice because Orpheus got COVID in the beginning, so I was alone in Norway, and this was very nice for me because I had all the space and time I needed for myself. And Norway was amazing. It was quiet, and it was snowy, and it felt like Norway. It had this Viking feeling, this feeling of strength and of wilderness, like real wilderness. Not the bullshit one in Greece. At least in the cities, near the cities, which is very good to have. I'm very grateful for it. But that was real wilderness. At least that's what I felt. And I sat there, and I was going out in the forests and meditating and being near the nature, and I wrote many poems, which I really liked. I'm gonna read you one right now, actually. Let the neighbors see my butt. Okay, let me read you the poem. I wrote some in English and some in Greek. Where's my notebook? Where's my one notebook? That's the most precious thing I have on me. Okay, I have it. Okay, which one should I read you? I'm gonna read you the one that has to do with insecurities as well. So it's all connected with the healing. I'm gonna read you two, actually. The one is coming later along the story. Okay, so this is one I made a sticker as well because I felt it had some power in it. Destructive rules encoded in our deeply conditioned DNA like little prisons. We are not the ones deciding how to act, how to speak, or how to think. We are not the ones deciding what we find beautiful and what we find ugly. Mental slavery, inner fascism, misjudging our true nature, misguiding our lives. We take drugs as an excuse to allow ourselves to be more like ourselves, ashamed and afraid of ourselves, as none of us fit in the guidelines of the corrupt society we blindly follow. Let our differences and our incomparability be our strength. Let us try to make a home of this world again, because there still is hope. And like I was writing many poems like this that really gave me strength. They gave me what I find difficult, what I struggle with is finding the space for myself to justify my existence. Actually, it's very sad. It should be obvious, but I find it difficult to justify my existence. I guess I have a very strong different beliefs definitely than the mainstream. Like the mainstream, come on, everyone has to have, even it's the mainstream, everyone has to have different beliefs than the mainstream. The mainstream is like fucking distraction. But anyways, I find like I have different ideas and everything than most people, and I find it very difficult to really give myself the space. I need to stand up for myself. It's kind of it's a scary feeling for me. And those poems, when I write something that really brings out uh, a deeper aspect of myself, I find it very grounding, because every time I feel like scared or lost, I read that and I'm like remember, remember who you are, what you're doing. Don't compromise for bullshit, And the last day in Norway, this is where I want to take it. I was walking and I was in this valley, kind of, can you say valley? It was like this field. And it was all snowy, and I was in a hill, and I could see like the fjord down, and those traditional houses of Norway, the colorful, the wooden ones, and it was like the sea, and it was a magical scenery. And then I could see the snow. It was super quiet. I never listened to music because there was this quietness, this beautiful quietness that was just it was so full. It's such a weird thing to explain, but it was just this quietness that was amazing. And I saw like this huge cloud, dark cloud coming over, and like everything got dark, and there was this huge snowstorm, and it felt like like the fucking spirit of Norway was there, just dancing and screaming and just expressing yourself so much, just being there. And I was there, and I was moved by it. I was like, and I was just dancing. I was listening to the first album by Florence and the Machine, and I was just dancing through all the thing. And I felt like I was dancing with Norway, and I just felt like, again, like me being a force of nature. I felt like this divinity that we all have within us. The motherfuckers are building the top house, and there's this super annoying noise. I hope it's not heard too much. And I felt this divinity very, very strongly. And when I came back to Greece, I made those stickers, and I promised to myself to remember that, so I stay grounded in the sky. I stay grounded in myself, and I can offer my gifts to the world, and I can receive the world's gifts from me, and I can live. Actually, that's what it's all about. To be able to live, it's nothing more than that. Like, we don't need to fucking save the world or something. We just need to live. And by that, I guess that's how you save the world. The second poem, I wrote it listening to a song by Orpheus on the piano. That was amazing. And oh no, that wasn't his song by the piano, but he has some good songs on the piano. And I I started crying and remembering that moment. And this is the poem. I don't want to go to the army when I grow up, he cried. By then, you might want to, his mother answered. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to live. No one really does. It's that night when the little Indian boy gets lost in the forest only to return a man. It's not something you want to do, it's something you have to do. Rain was falling on the windows of the car as it drops now on my face. It has changed so many faces. I have changed so many faces. Who would have imagined? Love, anguish, fear, hate, suffering, bliss, ecstasy, all dancing together, reminding me nothing is lost. The sky changes colors. It looks as if it too dances, confused wisely, eternally lost and found. An ocean older than my body is the only thing I sense, moving me where it wants to, and I want to follow. I am afraid, but I'm also so much more than that. I am crying out of joy and out of pain. My body is shaking uncontrollably. I can't keep writing because no words could explain. Only a sky like this one could, and I'm not sure even about that. This is how I felt that day when I was dancing with Norway. And I came back to Greece then, and I was feeling really strong. I made those stickers, and shit happened, and I found this amazing. I was feeling kind of uneasy and uncomfortable on the economic part because I was struggling to find a job for so long. Every day I was looking for a job. I was applying everywhere. I was running up and down. I was putting so much time and energy, and no one would take me. I don't know why. Like I faked my biographical many times, so I had the best one possible. No one would take me, and I wanted to have my independence. I wanted to, like, okay, my parents gave me like 300 euros, which is like we have a house that we rent, and I would normally be staying there, so they just like give me the rent. So it's not like I wasn't feeling like I was a weight to my parents because they wouldn't miss that money. But I wanted to take everything in my own hands. I wanted to have everything in my own hands, and I was sad that I couldn't find a job, and I was stressing about like the financial stuff because ideally, and what I hope will happen one day, is I want to be able to live by my art and by my music. That's because that's what I feel I have to offer the most. I That's where I feel I can put my soul into it, and I guess I still have to learn a lot and improve a lot and like discipline myself more, maybe. But that's where I feel at home. Like when I put out something, it can be like it can be a play, it can be anything. I just want to put something like a live organism, that can talk to other people afterwards, like something that I help something come to life. That's what I would want to be able to be paid for, and that's what keeps me going. So even if I never get paid for it, I will always keep going because that's what keeps me. And there's much more stuff also than getting paid for it, but it would be really good to get paid for it. And anyways, I had this fight, not this fight. I was just speaking with my parents, and they told me there is this yak for making jewelry, and I always loved making jewelry. It's I was searching for it for years and I couldn't find anything. And they told me that this yak for jewelry exists in the city, so I went and looked at it, and it looked amazing. And I needed also some more structure in my life, and I wanted to do something where I can really, like, with music. I work on my voice. I've worked on my voice a lot, and I'm very very proud with where I've gotten, and I'm gonna keep working for it. But with guitar, for example, I get pretty bored. Like I also learn, like I get pretty bored to learn more stuff. I get bored to learn stuff that I feel like I can't use, even though that's not the case because I can use almost everything. And I'm learning how to produce my music now, and I'm taking it slow and steady. I'm not, because I feel like every time I give a part of me really, so I don't want to force it. So I'm taking it slow and steady. But with jewelry, I felt like it was something I could be really good at and like, and something to be able to make more sure money as well. So I was really excited about it, and I started doing it. I'm still doing it. I have a lesson in a bit. It's really good, uh, and it kind of it gave me some ground to step on. But then it's like I started getting lost in the city again. losing connection with me again, and losing connection with that divine aspect I found in Norway. And that happened over time. Like in the beginning, I was very, I had super much energy to give, and I was putting stickers everywhere. And I was, when I started the school as well, I had all these struggles with the rest of the people and how I function and how I think. And it was a very good experiment for me. And I had a lot of lots of stuff to work on, so I was feeling more empowered and more empowered. And also these poems, I kept writing these poems, and I wrote better ones, and they really kept me going. They really kept me going. And so that time period has passed quite fast. It's like from February. I was reading some books and again taking some time for myself to heal. And I got very obsessed with making money. Like this thought of you're not enough, it manifests in all. It finds all the silly ways to enter, and keep me small and down. So, for example, this is an example. It's not the case most of the times. But like for example, if I'm talking with someone who's older, my voice will say, "Oh, you're older. They're older. You're young. Like oh." So I become small. I don't express what I have to express. And if I talk with someone younger, the voice is like, "Oh, you're older, young." So again, I hold myself back, and this happens very subconsciously. So I can't. I meditate a lot, and this helps to catch it when it comes. But it's very, it comes and it just does this, and you sense it after. You're like, why I was so tense, why I was so scared, and it's that. But I couldn't realize it. Why am I saying that? Where was my thinking going? I wanted to make a point out of this. And I want to make a very good point out of this. Come on, man. Remember your shit. Okay, so let's take bows in Saloniki and writing the point and waiting. I totally forgot. I I have a memory like a goldfish. I totally forgot where I wanted to take it. Gosh. I was in school. I don't want to stop the video to remember what I was saying, so I'm just gonna keep going. And sorry for the big gap there from what I was saying and what I wanted to say. I was also going to psychologist, and she's amazing. It really helps me get my feet on the ground, keep going. It's really helpful. And this video is 30 minutes. I'm trying to close it soon. So I guess if I can't remember what I wanted to say, I'll take it to the now. And oh, I remembered. Fuck yeah! Yes, yes. Okay, so I this feeling of not enough has all these ways of entering my brain with ways I don't understand it, and it got in my brain in the way that in order to be enough, in order to express myself, to love myself, to be a human, to be myself, I have to fucking be financially independent, because otherwise, like, you're a piece of shit or some bullshit. So I took my guitar and my speaker, and I was playing music every day on the street, every day, no breaks, for a month. Like, I might, I feel good, I play. I feel bad, I play. I feel like I want to die, I still go and play. Like fucking discipline. I did that, and I was making like 30 euros an hour. I was only playing for an hour, so I was most of them. So I was getting carried away, so I was playing more. But I wanted to stick for an hour, and I was making 30 euros an hour, which is like what you make in Greece, at least in a normal job, in 8 hours, or actually you make less maybe in 8 hours. So I was really good, singing and making 30 euros an hour. But I overworked myself. Like, I didn't pay attention to my feelings. I didn't give myself any break, like, for a fucking month. That's not good. Like, it's good to stay disciplined, but you need breaks. And at some point, I got sick of like I felt because I didn't work on my on how I felt. So like the last day of the month that I played, I felt like I couldn't. You know, when I sing, I feel like I share a part of my soul, and I felt like I had created a distance from my soul. So I was like, okay, I need again to take a breath. You know, I need some strength. I need some power. My parents were at Mytilene, so I went to find them, and I went with the hope of, you know, again being alone in nature and getting away from all the opinions and the thoughts and the city and the noise. You know, just having time back in myself. And I got super triggered by my parents. I got super triggered. Like instead of taking a breath, I I just like kind of got in the role of a child. I guess I don't know what. I don't know what. Still, I'm gonna figure it out. But I got super triggered. Like this feeling of I'm not enough got like 10 times more, and I couldn't do anything. I felt like really I felt paralyzed. I had this like pain in my chest, and I couldn't do anything. There were good moments, like let's not be fully like I was but overall it was difficult for me. So I came back to Thessaloniki, and then this feeling, this depression of the summer got back, you know, which was like the worst feeling that exists on earth that I've felt. And it was strong, you know, this abyss. I fell back into the abyss that I swore back then that I'll never fall back in again. And when this comes, it's like full desperation. You think, oh my God, like has anything I've been doing been paying off? Was I just lying to myself? This is very scary because I don't think any attempt of healing is lying to yourself. Like even if it's not the smartest, it's still like if you're going somewhere. So I was like, was I lying to myself? I got super desperate. I was very low. And you know, when that comes, it feels like it's always been like that, and it will always be like that. It's like fucking huge mountain. And I didn't. I panicked in the beginning. Of course, I panicked in the beginning. I freaked the fuck out. But then I said to myself, okay, this is like a sign, you know, that you need to change something. Like the previous time it happened, it was a sign that I needed to change something to move forward in a different manner. So I decided, okay, what's going on? You know, what have I been doing, and what do I need to do anew? And I still don't have definite answer for that, so I'm not gonna share it. But also, I had a very big difficulty with expressing myself to myself, like being, you know, like saying to myself, okay, what's the problem? Yeah, identifying it, finding it, and writing like steps to overcome it. My mind was a fucking chaos, and that's not useful. So I tried to do that with myself, and it really worked, and I really helped myself, and like I got out of it. Like it seemed impossible, you know, once you're in it, it feels like you're never gonna get out of it, but I managed to do get out of it. Now I'm out of it. Yeah, boy. And but I still, it was this like wake up call that, bro, you need to change something. And now I'm in this state, you know, that I need to change something in the way I'm living and the way I'm being. Like I still feel like I have all this stuff inside me that needs to be expressed, and holding me back. So this is the healing, you know. This will keep going, but I feel like I need to change something in my lifestyle as well. Maybe like in the beginning when I came from Crete, I was working out every day because it creates endorphins in your body, so it makes you feel good, and you also look hot, baby. So that helps as well. And I was meditating every day. I still do meditate. I meditate every day for a long time. But I think I need to get more on track with them, you know, to be more present with them. And I need to create more safe spaces in the city. Like I always carry my ukulele with me now, and it's very helpful because every time I feel like I'm drowning, I take it out, and it's like a sword, you know, and I just start singing and reconnecting with myself. and I've written a map of things to do, so I can I can bloom, I can flower, and yeah, it's because I'm gonna stay in the city for quite some time. I'm gonna stay for 1.5 year more because that's how long my school is, and I think I don't wanna like put myself in a trap here, but I think the future is looking better because I have some plans. And as long as I stay out of desperation, just like the big fucking enemy of progress. As long as I stay out of desperation, but I will, because desperation is the worst thing in the universe because it takes you nowhere. It's like desperation is like you want to be dead, but you're not dying, so it's just stupid. It's maybe the only thing that it has no purpose in it. It's just like this trap, this prison that you need to be like, no, and then get out of it and start living again. I have so much more to say. I could keep speaking for hours and hours and hours and hours, but then I feel I'm gonna pass over my boundaries of getting personal in the internet, and I don't want to do that. I'm gonna end this with a poem then. Okay. Buildings and cement tower above us, and that's why we never learned to trust ourselves. Because we never got lost, and that's why we never got to find ourselves. Shoes over our feet and clothes over our naked bodies, and so we never learned what lies beneath. The leashes that we tie our dogs to are the same leashes our own minds are tied to. We never learned to trust ourselves, and that's why we never learned to trust each other. We never found ourselves, but somehow we did end up finding each other, to mirror what we lost, to promise to regain it. Our eyes were never meant to be sunken in fear, and our hearts were never meant to be so silent. Our minds were never meant to be so dark, and our bodies were never meant to be so empty. Buildings and cement tower above us, but however high we build them, the sky will always tower above them. Shoes over our feet and clothes over our bodies, but however hard we try to hide, we will always be naked underneath.